All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corner Kick. You remember us? Do you remember us? Do they remember us?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I'm Alex Fidruszewski. That's James J. Pepe. You know him. We were here before. We did Soccer Talk on CWTAP. Gosh, 10 years ago we started this concept.
That long? I thought
Yeah.
it was more like 5 or 6. 10?
10.
That's a long
2015, we got started for the
Wow.
first time. And now we do it live here from X Golf.
Yep.
Our great sponsor in Easton. Behind us, you can see the fine sim. I used to be a horrible golfer. And then we'll get actually into the show. But according to Tom, now I'm just bad.
Hey, every little bit counts.
That's right.
So you'll be ready for the 4-man scramble soon. You can
Absolutely
be
not.
bad in the scramble.
Tom's going to hit everything to the green.
All you got to do is make one putt.
All right, fair enough. But again, so it's time for the Quarter Kick here on CWTAP. I'm Alex Fidruszewski. That's JJ Pepe. And it's time to get back in the saddle. This has been far too long in the offing.
It has been long. We've been planning this comeback for a while, months and months, and it's great to finally be back. I love being on CWTAP, and this time around we're on channel 126, Service Electric Lehigh Valley, 84 in Berks, and 177 on Blue Ridge.
Yeah, it's a great addition from when we were here last time. Prior to passing away, and we miss him dearly, Uncle Jeffrey got the station on Blue Ridge. That was a huge, huge boost for us. So hello to everyone watching us out there on Blue Ridge up in the Poconos. It's great to meet you for the first time with our Soccer Talk show. If you're a veteran of the Lehigh Valley and CWTP, you know what this is all about. But JJ, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's time. The season kicks off this weekend in England, in Spain, so we got a couple stops.
I'm very excited. The English Premier League is the gold standard, right, for most fans around the world. It's the be-all, end-all for most players around the world. Make it there in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a championship contender, who we'll talk about to lead off the show, or relegation fodder. Mm-hmm. The pressure is just about the same because there's a whole lot of money on the line.
Yeah, way too much. The Sunderland, who won the promotion playoff a few months ago, it was, a £300 million game at this point. That's what it's worth to the winner. 10 years ago it was $100 million, but that's how much they get just for playing one season in the Premier League. If they get relegated straight back, those parachute payments go back down. But, it's just an amazing place to be. It's 38 matches for those who don't know. Every match counts. There's no playoffs. Top of the table, most points wins. The bottom 3 least points, they get relegated. And it's different from some of the leagues we're more familiar with here in the U.S., whether it's MLS or any of the other American sports. You can't tank. You can't take a week off. Every place that you finish higher in the table is more money for the club. It's more for your wallet because the players get bonuses for everything. And that's why I think their marketing did a great job when it came here with NBC and Peacock now. And they just knew how to sell it. And now everybody's familiar with Premier League mornings. This weekend I'll be up at 7 a.m. with the telly on, waiting, watching a little pregame before my Villa boys get in action.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, you came very dressed for the occasion. Here I come all prim and proper as if I'm ready to call the match in the press box. But JJ's ready to sit with the supporters. That's his deal.
I did not get the memo to dress nicely today.
Well, that's okay. Next week you're going to show up in a suit, and I'll be here in a soccer jersey.
We might be able to arrange that or something close.
We'll see what happens. Oh, this is going to be bad already, isn't it? But let's get into the meat of this. We'll start with the Premier League contenders. It's on the screen right now. Our top 3, it's Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal.
Yes. Yep. And for me, if you're going to say those are the contenders, I know some people say, what about Chelsea? I think Chelsea playing in the Club World Cup and winning it, but they played into July. The players have only had a couple weeks off. I think even though they've been good in the market, I think a couple injuries will get hold of them. That's why we don't have them on the list.
I think, too, with Chelsea, we have seen over the years under the ownership of both Roman Abramovich and now Todd Bowley, a propensity for excessive spending with no ROI.
Yeah, and they're trying to ship off, the rumors are going around. There's 4 or 6 players that may be gone in the next week and a half. There's interest, but all they're doing is sending a bloated squad of 50-something players. So in the end, I still think that that extra summer of matches here that they played in the U.S. is going to catch up with them in that Christmas time period where you're going to start seeing the injuries take their toll. And I think they're just going to it's going to put them back far enough where they're not going to be able to contend for the title.
Speaking of that excessive roster, Bobby was texting me about that the other day, who was with us for quite some time. A lot of our viewers might remember his voice on the Barnyard Market commercial and was with us here for quite a time when he was at Rutgers University. He texted me, he goes, "Did you see that list?" It's like, yeah, the loan list for Chelsea is longer than most Premier League team rosters.
Yeah, it's massive. They sign players young, they loan them out, and then they sell them. But the key is, and Villa's starting to do it, if you bring in players in the right price window, you sell them for profit, your PSR goes to where you need it to be. So, I think they're probably a season or two away from genuinely contending. I think the odds-on favorite, I believe this year, it's Liverpool. I do think they'll go on to win the title. I'll give the spoiler, now. I think they've made some very smart signings. This is, for the second time this century, the champions from the previous year are the highest spenders. I think Liverpool bringing in Wirtz, bringing in 1 or 2 other key pieces, and still having Mo Salah around. I think they need a center back that would put a lot more people at ease to them going on to win the title. As we saw, they got caught out a little bit against Palace in the Community Shield, but I do think Liverpool will be there.
Manchester City, not the most active summer for them.
Kind of quiet.
Looming, never happening financial penalties that always seem out there. Are they wising up perhaps a little bit? Or is this a case of they feel like they have the pieces, a couple of reinforcements, and take their shot?
I think it's the latter. Everybody knew from the season before when Rodri was out injured, City could be gotten. And when he went down early with the knee injury, that was it. They fell off the cliff. He's back, but whenever you come back from a major knee injury, especially in the Premier League, you never know how quickly they'll get back up to speed. If he's cranking away, if Erling Haaland can find that 30, 35 goal mark again, City can push Liverpool all the way.
I don't think that finding the goals will be difficult for Thor. I think he'll be just fine. I think right now, without question, the best attacker in the world is Erling Haaland. It helps when you have Manchester City talent around you, but he still has to put the chances away and does so at an incredible clip. And that will keep them firmly in the mix. I think Arsenal is probably the chaser of the three.
Yeah, until they prove otherwise. I mean, they've been runners-up the last 2 seasons. They've been missing a striker and probably a winger for years. They finally went out and bought one. I'm going to try and say it correctly. We were talking about this before we came on air. Gyökeres.
He got it all right.
Yeah, they brought him in. It was from Sporting Lisbon, correct?
Yes.
And he will be one of the players to put some of those goals in that they've been significantly lacking. That was their problem the last 2 seasons. When they fell off, it was lack of goals in important matches. So it's going to be interesting to see how he comes in. He's had a great goal haul in Portugal. Different kettle of fish now, and we're going to see how he can adapt, how quickly he can get up to speed. But if he's not firing on all cylinders, again, through that Christmas period, and Arsenal are hovering, they're going to be taken seriously too. It could be can they get there? Does Mikel Arteta have the managerial chops to get him there? And I personally, until he proves otherwise, I don't think he does.
Take a look in the middle of the table. And we'll do this one totally off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
What comes of Tottenham Hotspur this year?
Oh.
What comes with Manchester United? And can Villa find their way into that top 6 or 7 and take a shot at Europe?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we got to look further down the table to find Spurs and United from last season.
Oh, that was just abysmal from both of them last year. It was shockingly bad.
It was. United made some good moves in the market, but they're still, I think, buying players a rung or two lower than what they're used to, and they're overpaying for them. It's with Cunha from Wolves. This is going to be big for him. I have my doubts, but if he can, they need a goal scorer as well. That's where they've been falling down. As far as Tottenham, I think Thomas Frank has a bigger project on his hands at this point in time. I think United will be better than last season. I do think Tottenham will be better than last season. However, Tottenham, I don't think they've had a great summer. They've lost Son to Los Angeles Football Club.
Not his first choice, his own words.
I know, not his first choice, but he's no longer there. They need to upgrade in some positions that they haven't. So all they're counting on is a manager coming in who has managed a mid-table to slightly higher club and way smaller to come into Tottenham and to take them flying up the table. It'll be interesting to see what happens with them. I think both clubs are going to be in that. If they're having a good season, it's 7th. And if they're not, I can see both of them finishing bottom half again.
Let's move on forward. Well, let's say downward in the Premier League. On our screen now, the relegation battle. Quite a few teams we threw into that mix. Brentford, Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds, Wolves, and you added West Ham United. We were pretty much uniform on some of these. I think it's safe to assume when you get the 3 that come up, for the most part, they will be favorites to potentially go down. Sunderland spent over £100 million, but that's a paltry sum once you hit the Premier League.
And it was on 12, I think 12 players, maybe 13. So they've kind of rebuilt their squad. They've brought in some decent players, but it's going to be a scrap for them. It's been years since they've been in the Premier League. Out of I won't say they're the worst out of the 3 that came up. Burnley hasn't done much in the market. Leeds haven't either. Leeds have a good manager who has been there. Maybe he can keep them up. I think Burnley are the ones that are almost nailed on to go down, unless they can figure something out during the season. Nobody likes going there midweek, but they don't play at home midweek enough.
I think Wolves is an interesting team to watch. They were really exciting to watch under Nuno Espirito Santo. He departed, and it's almost as if the deck of cards came crashing down a little bit for them.
Yeah, ownership pulled back on the money they're pouring in, probably PSR issues, although when they started pulling back, it wasn't as talked about as it is now. They've lost a few players to the Sky 6 clubs. So they have some holes they got to put in. And they struggled last season. Now you take out those goals from Cunha, you lose a defender. They're an injury or 2 away from, being in that 17th spot, trying to stay above the trapdoor.
A lot of folks on social media have pegged Brentford in that 18-19 spot. I could see it.
Yeah, they lost their manager, lost a couple good attacking players. So now for them, it's going to, a little repetitive, but where are their goals going to come from? And I don't think they brought anybody in to fix that. So they need to be really difficult to beat. They've got to win probably a lot of matches 1-0. And I think for them, it could be time's up, and it could be time to slip back down to the championship.
What was the key reason for your addition of West Ham on the list?
I haven't been impressed. I don't think they've had a great summer. Graham Potter had a great run at Brighton. He had a tough run at Chelsea when they brought in 40 players and said, here, make it work. But even when he came in last season, West Ham didn't really get any better, and they were struggling. They're a bit of an aging side, still are. You know, you've got one or two players who can win a match for them. But I just think there's that level. They might be just above. They might be like a 15th or 16th. But I think this year there's going to be more points. Again, like last season, they were just taken from the bottom three. I think the bottom five are going to lose a lot of points this year. And that's what's going to tighten it up.
Well, and I think unfortunately, the one bad thing, I'm going to say this about the Premier League, and this has become all of Europe, haves and have-nots. To varying degrees, almost every league in the Premier League is probably the most apparent as far as financial haves and have-nots. And even the teams that come up that may have are still chasing the pack.
Yeah, and I think last season it was easy. 3 up, 3 down. You could tell they were a world apart. I think this season, some of what people may have considered were the more stable clubs, they're not. They've lost players, and they're just not replacing them. Look at Bournemouth. They're on our list too. From their back five, their goalkeeper and back four, they've lost 4 of the 5 players. All they have left is a right back. And these players went, not in the Premier League, went to Liverpool, but they've sold players to Real Madrid, PSG, other clubs on the continent. And where Bournemouth makes up is they have the same manager, but their defense has been picked apart. If you're playing, you want to play them the first month and a half of the season because their new back four and goalkeeper are going to have to find their stride. It's the perfect time where they were so steady last year. Now they're going to be around that bottom area unless they make some moves in the next 2 weeks.
I think for our average viewer at home, too, who maybe doesn't follow soccer too much, NFL fans, Major League Baseball, whatever it is that you watch, this is actually the conversation that is the most interesting and exciting as it pertains to the Premier League, at least for this year for me. Because if you want to, as a casual sports fan, maybe your grandkids or nieces or nephews play soccer, but you don't really watch it, you grew up in a football house or whatever it is, the magic sometimes happens not at the top of the table. Sometimes the most interesting matches are the ones involving the teams that are on our screen right now. It's this relegation battle to see who can stave it off and earn themselves the next £250 million, £300 million by staying in the Premier League. And it's also a point where fans of those clubs carry the passion to match day 36 into match day 36. You're getting to the end of the season, and maybe last year was the change where it doesn't always happen, and sometimes the last place team knows they're adrift. But if you have a group this year like you're talking about where there really isn't a clear-cut bottom dweller, there are 5 or 6 of them that could fall into this space, this is your time to get into it. Because if we hit the midpoint of the season and there's 5 teams down there, as a casual viewer, as a sports fan, that's where the high drama will pick up. Whereas if you're an NBA fan and the Brooklyn Nets are 26 back at the All-Star break, the season is over.
Yeah. And 2 of the 3 clubs that came up, Burnley and Leeds, they were in the Premier League recently. Sunderland's the only one that hasn't been in the league for a while. And you've got this year where it was a little different last year. You have some clubs who they're going to struggle. There's always a surprise. Well, Everton, how are they going to do moving to their new ground? And they've struggled. Will Moyes keep his magic with a little bit of a revamped side? This season in the Premier League, I think there's going to be battles all over the table. I think we've got 3 that can run it to the wire this season. We don't have a clear cut like when City were winning titles, 5 in a row. You've got a battle at the top. Those Champions League spots are going to be, the 4th place will be keep an eye on, because if the clubs do well in Europe, they could have the 5th. You asked before, what could Villa be a dark horse? Sure, they can. They're a bit more seasoned. They've got some players back from injury or who've been off of form. They've brought in 1 or 2 good players. They haven't revamped the side, but their depth is there this season. Newcastle, they're going to struggle. Isak doesn't want to play there. He's already said he'll never play for him again. Now they got to find goals. Will United and Tottenham maybe surprise what I think they'll do and get themselves back to where they normally are? I think, Brighton will still be hovering in that section, 8th place. You'll get a couple clubs that are going to be Fulham. They'll be happy in 9th or 10th. So you're going to have the bottom 5 or 6, and I think you're going to have at the top for the European places. There's going to be a good battle there, and if these 3 clubs, now let's just say Chelsea is able, if you can get a 3-horse race in there, that's when the top of the table looks attractive. Liverpool had the title wrapped up, just after Christmas last year. You knew they weren't going to let it slip.
Right.
So even though it's probably the same couple, when they run each other to the wire, it does make that April and that early May, it makes it all to play for, and it's just better to watch.
Let's use the Alexander Isak transfer request, the demand at this point, I'm not coming back, as a pivot for our content here to talk about some of the key transfers that came in. He obviously will be going outbound, whether he stays in the Premier League or not this late in the window remains to be seen. What will Newcastle want for him? With him saying, I'm done, does that lower his, the value that Newcastle will receive for him? Or can they play hardball and send him off to the side in training? These are things that, could be spoken about. And at this point of the summer, is it I would assume he wants to be on a Champions League team.
He wants to play for Liverpool. Liverpool unsettled him. Newcastle's going to hold out for the full, I think, 150, 155 that they asked for. And that's 155 million pounds. Will Liverpool come back? They've signed a striker. Do they need another 155 million pound striker? I don't know. They only bid about 120, 125. He wants to go there. If it's not a Premier League side, because he's already training on the side, Saudi's the only other place where he'd probably land. If he doesn't go there, then, and the transfer window closes, at some point, when does he go into the changing room and apologize to everybody and come back? Because if he's not on the Champions League squad and he's not in the league squad, he doesn't play again till January. So he may not have taken the best approach.
And a very, very calculated risk to say, I want out by September 1st. And
who owns Newcastle? Basically, the Saudi PIF,
I think
who have billions of dollars. They don't need to sell him for money.
Right.
Maybe a little PSR, but that'd be it. So they can just sit there
and wait.
And that's what they're doing. They're saying, you're not just going to come in and take our players, but from the other side, if he's just playing, training with the U21s in October and November, is that good for anybody? I
don't think it's good for anybody. I think they'll find a solution before that. Whether it's Liverpool trying to come up, maybe they meet in the middle. 150, 125, will meet at 135, 140. Do they need him? I don't know. They've just brought players in all summer.
Yeah.
And what then happens if, let's say, and I'm going to speculate, he wants to go there. Liverpool says, fine, we'll pay for you. And then we'll get into our impact transfers. We're speculating. I love sports speculation. If you listen to major sports talk radio and television, 98% of it is either recap or speculation.
Yep.
And actually, most of it's speculative.
Yes.
What could happen today? What could happen in the trade window? And I think, what happens if he goes there and they say, hey, yeah, we'll bring you in. Then he can't. What if he doesn't win the starting job? What if he doesn't win that spot and they're like, hey, we're not going to go to a 2-striker system?
Oh, I don't
Does he then sit there and go, well, you got to get rid of me again because I need to be on the field.
Well, I think he's definitely going to go into a place where he's got to win the starting spot. They will use rotation because they've got so many matches. But having said that, will he be, when it's the big match, will he have the starting spot nailed down, or is he coming off the bench? And he could be moving somewhere where he's coming off the bench. However, his chances of lifting the trophy at the end of the season are way better at Liverpool than at Newcastle. Newcastle, they're just not going to contend for the title.
No, it's exceptionally higher, and I think if he's looking for consistent Champions League action, it's going to be his best avenue. Year after year is to try to force a move to a consistent top 3-4 club. Could put him on the bench, but he'll at least be in the mix and be guaranteed some type of minutes in that situation. Yeah. The other option is kind of the nuclear Saudi, we're gone, I'm getting paid $100 million a year. And
the owner's also selling them to their own
club, right?
In Saudi Arabia that they, have the $80 billion for.
But they could use that to clear their own Premier League financial fair play rules, if you will, and keep themselves in line of where they need to be. Now, let's jump into it. Who can actually make waves in the Premier League instead of saying, well, maybe if Isak gets the move? Let's bring it up on the screen. JJ and I have both come up with 3 players that we think could make some noise. These are guys who are new to their club with potential. There's certainly going to be a lot of pressure. It's on the screen right now. Who sinks? Who swims? JJ, you want to get us started with your trio there?
Yeah. Hugo Ekitike for Liverpool. He was brought in to replace a faltering striker who has since moved on. And, I think he scored in the Community Shield. He's going to put the goals in. That's what Liverpool were lacking last year. If they would have had more goals from Nunez, they probably would have won the league by more. So I think he's going to come in instant impact. That's one of the reasons why I think Liverpool will win the title. I think they're going to have more goals this year from the striker position. Gyökeres for Arsenal.
He's 2 for 2.
2 for 2. I think he's going to score some goals. I think where Arsenal will fall down will be with who's around him, but I think he will make a good impact. My third is a little bit of probably a surprise when you read it, but Guisson for Aston Villa, brought in from Ligue 1 in France, and he was labeled there. He's from the Côte d'Ivoire. The Ivory Coast. Yep, and he has been labeled the new Didier Drogba. He's 24. Ooh. He is a big player. He was the second best forward in the league last season, in terms of creating. And coming into Villa, where they need that extra push, he's come off the bench in the preseason, probably has to just find himself in the system a little bit. He may not start the first match, but once he kicks into gear, that's why I think Villa's going to be pushing forth again this season like they did last season, and where they could be that dark horse, but in the Europa League, they could make noise. He's the type of transfer coming in, he could help lead Villa to that next step. Where from start to finish, they are contending for silverware and a Champions League spot.
The comparison to Didier Drogba, that is big. I mean, this is a big weight being put on his shoulders to live up to a Premier League legend.
Yeah, it is. I think what will help is where he is. If he would have gone to a Sky 6 club, to United, he would have been too much. At Villa, he's got Uncle Unai, right? Unai Emery's there. He's going to be playing in a system. He doesn't have to be the person up top to score goals. It's Ollie Watkins. You've got probably Malin starting on the right. You got Morgan Rogers there. With those players, Malin coming into the system nicely with a good preseason. If he's coming in from the left or, where they're going to slot him in, he can just come in. He's not the center of attention. He can find his feet, and then that second half of the season and next season is when I think he will have the most impact.
So a little more freedom.
Yes. Yeah, the pressure's off of him. He's not the center of attention at Villa. That's Ollie Watkins. And if Watkins can do what he's doing in the preseason, he may finally hit 20 league goals. Villa need goals spread out. He's the guy who's going to help take some of that pressure off.
That's a solid list. I like all three of them. It was a surprise, but it's not a surprise, though, because, well, JJ and Aston Villa are perfect together. I mean, you wore the kit to the show.
Hey, had to for the first one.
We scored Matty Cash's jersey, sort of.
Yeah, we helped.
2 years ago, we helped.
We helped.
It's still hanging on the wall.
Where?
It's in Hartford somewhere.
We got to try and get that.
We got to get him down here. Nico, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
You got to take a trip to the Lehigh Valley. Bring the kit. We'll do a swap.
On air. We'll do it on air.
We'll get you a Moravian kit in exchange. I know a guy who can make that happen.
Yeah. Right.
It's not quite the same sentimental value, but it's rarer. It's more rare. Excuse me. Rarer is terrible English. More rare. I would be thrown off Sky Sports for that.
Hey, first show back.
is.
We'll allow it.
We'll work it out.
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Your three.
All right, so here we go. Let's go back to the screen. My three. Florian Wirtz, Liverpool, £116 million. Bayer Leverkusen, that's the marquee signing for the season. This is a potential record fee. And I think Liverpool's strong financial position, he just makes them even stronger because they had the bucks to spend on him. I think he's going to be transformative for them in the attack. And I think his ability to create is just going to make them even more dangerous. João Pedro, Chelsea. I put him on there from Brighton. Chelsea, spend. I could just keep repeating that for the rest of the show, and we'll be there eventually to the amount they've actually spent.
I think next summer they're going to have to sell their U18s for $80 million so they can fund more transfer activity.
Absolutely. with Pedro, though, I think he's a versatile attacking midfielder. He can play up top. He's got Premier League experience coming from Brighton. Very aggressive spending. We just talked about it. They want to try to compete in the Champions League. I think he could be a game changer for them.
They also needed somebody to take some of the heat off of Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's up for the Ballon d'Or and some of these others, and I don't know how because he did nothing from October to April. He was they figured it out, and it took him that long to start up. Now, from the start of the season, they should have somebody in there to just help free him up, which is what he needs coming in from the right.
I'll say my final transfer that I want to watch this year is Mateus Cunha, Manchester United, came in from Wolves. 33 goals and 92 appearances for Wolves, so he can put the ball in the back of the net. He'll be hopefully expected to address the need for a little more dynamic attack for United. There are some additional players that have come into the side, but I think he's versatile, and they're going to put a lot on his shoulders. He, for me, is that third player to keep an eye on. I went with all big teams.
Yeah, and I think out of the six, I think Cunha is the one who may fall short.
I think that's a fair shout, and I think United are the least equipped to make the move that fans have been waiting for. It's how long in the offing now to say, like, when do they become Manchester United again? But this goes back years now. Sir Alex left them high and dry. He did.
It wasn't just him. They also, at that time, the director of football left. And Moyes came in. He was a capable manager. And I remember they went on tour to Australia. And the director of football went back to take care of transfer business. And they signed Fellaini on the final day. And that was it. And that was the end of him. Ferguson won the league with a team that shouldn't have won the league in his last season. That was part of it. But when the director of football left, who was in charge of transfers, and they brought somebody in with no experience, he was a commercial, marketing sponsorship guy, that was it. And the manager merry-go-round, the bad purchases left, right, and center. Amorim, if they have patience. I thought Ten Hag may have had a shot if he had another year, but I think Amorim, I think he will get them up the table. I don't think it'll be as bad. He came in. He didn't want to come in until the summer for a reason. He took his shots. He took his lumps. I think they will be better this year. I think they'll be anywhere from like 8th to 12th. Some of that will depend on players settling, and with them, it could be a few injuries. The blessing in disguise is they don't have to worry about Europe. That's where they could all of a sudden be back up there. They don't have Champions League. Spurs won the Europa League and gave United the lifeline that may have benefited Spurs in the league this year.
He's fired up, isn't he? First show back. And have you even taken a deep breath yet? I don't think so.
Only 2 little sips of the good stuff.
All right, let's take a pause. We'll come back here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the championship and League One and League Two, and then we'll get more onto the continent and move on in the next segment of Corner Kick on CWTAP. X-Golf, located just off the 25th Street exit of Route 22 in Easton, offers a premier golf simulation experience. With some of the most realistic indoor golf simulators you've ever seen, X-Golf is the premier place to work on your game before you hit the courses around the Lehigh Valley. If it's driving that needs work, putting that needs practice, or that pesky short game that haunts you, X-Golf is the perfect spot to perfect your swing. Bring your clubs, borrow one of our in-house sets, big up your friends, and come on down to X-Golf for a fun time. It's always 72 and sunny at X-Golf, and double bogeys are welcome, so you don't have to worry about a cart full of golfers behind you on hole 7. To schedule your tee time, call X-Golf at 484-250-0391. That's 484-250-0391. X-Golf. 80 Kunkel Drive in Easton, right off the 25th Street exit of Route 22. It's Queen's Nutritional Products, 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. The Novak family, still the proprietors. For a wide variety of high-quality vitamins, supplements, and herbs, shop Queen's Nutritional Products. From vitamin A to zinc and everything in between, the Queen Bee and her busy bees on staff can assist you. Queen's Nutritional Products also has a full line of dry and roasted nuts, dried fruits, and more. That historic nut hut still producing the best nuts and dried fruits in the Lehigh Valley. Queen's Nutritional Products also offers a variety of natural soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, and more, because what you put on your body is as important as what you put in it. Queen's Nutritional Products is open Monday through Wednesday and Saturday from 9 until 6, Thursday and Friday from 9 till 7, as well as Sunday from 11 till 4. Seniors get 10% off every day on many items in the store. Visit them online at queensnutrition.shop, or better yet, stop by Queen's Nutritional Products at 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. Leather Corner Post Bar and Grill, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield, has served up good food and good cheer since the 1860s. LCP is a one-of-a-kind local bar with great food, cold beer, and plenty of memories to be made. Sample their wings, burgers, salads, and more in a relaxed neighborhood pub setting. And with sports, Bolka, and more on their TVs, LCP is your hometown pub in Lehigh County. LCP is also the Boomba capital of the Lehigh Valley and features Bolka music on the third Thursday of every month, with the Steelworkers Bolka Band performing from 6 until 9 p.m. LCP is open Tuesday to Thursday from 3 until 11, Friday and Saturday from noon to 1:30 a.m., and Sunday from 1 to 8 p.m. Reserve your seats for Bolka Night with the Steelworkers by calling 610-395-1782. That's 610-395-1782. And of course, remember to mention CWTAP. That's the Leather Corner Post, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield. Superior Hardware, located at 400 South 3rd Street in Bangor, is your go-to source for home improvement supplies in the Slate Belt. With a variety of tools, screws, nuts, bolts, and more, Superior Hardware is the place to shop for your hardware needs. Superior Hardware offers a full line of Milwaukee tools, the highest quality power tools available. In addition to their in-store offerings, Superior Hardware ships nationwide via their website,
www.superiorhardwarebanger.com. So you don't even have to live in the Slate Belt or drive to Bangor to sample all that Superior Hardware has to offer. Superior Hardware is open Monday to Friday from 7 till 5, Saturday from 7:30 to 4, and Sunday from 9 to 2. Call them at 610-588-3205 or stop by their location at 400 South 1st Street in Bangor to jumpstart your home improvement projects today. That's Superior Hardware, 400 South 1st Street in Bangor.
Azar Supermarket, 3131 Linden Street in Bethlehem. Locally owned and operated by George Azar. Stop by today and pick from the freshest produce, much of it grown right here at home in Pennsylvania. Peruse the meat counter for the finest cuts of chicken, beef, lamb, and halal products. Take a step to your right. It's a selection of olives and mezza and cheese and more. Azar's features a full lineup of products imported from the Mediterranean, including Lebanese olive oil and hard-to-find spices and herbs. Shop Azar's, 3131 Linden Street in Bethlehem, for great value. Welcome back to Corner Kick. I'm Alex Fidrushevsky, JJ Pepe with me. We are at X Golf on 25th Street in Easton this evening, talking just a little bit, well, a whole lot of soccer. It's great to be back in the saddle with you, JJ. We're going to go down a few levels to the Championship, League One and League Two.
All in England.
Well, yes, we are staying in
Just
England.
gotta make sure.
And we won't talk about Scotland. The league is over.
Yeah, Paddy Power have already paid out after 2 match days. Celtic, for them, have won the title. They paid out no matter what the bet was. So if you would have bet £100,000, you're probably winning 100,005. So you're winning £5, but they are paying out because Rangers drew their first 2, Celtic won their first 2. For them, league's over.
Well, at this point, Rangers would have to probably take 3 or 4, if not 4 or 4, off of them to try to swing this thing, and that's not going to happen.
And Rangers will slip up a couple more times. Celtic will slip a little bit, but they'll probably still hit 85 to 95 points.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little bit of England here, shall we? Let's go to the new graphic on the screen. The contenders that we are watching in each of the leagues. Started off in the Championship. I'm going to go with Ipswich. I think that they are a favorite for promotion. Birmingham, fresh off a League One record, 111 points. I'm sorry, JJ. I know they're your rivals, but I'm going to go with them.
Tom Brady and the Blue Noses.
I'm sorry. What can I say? I'm picking them.
Playing in that toilet bowl of a ground.
He's biased.
They will not get promoted.
I respect all of those Birmingham fans out there who are going to have to put up with this every single week for, oh my gosh, years to come.
Yep.
You know, we need to get a Birmingham fan in here for you.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
And for those that don't know, the distance from Villa Park to St. Andrews, where Birmingham play, is about 3.5 miles. So that's how close they are, and that's why, the claret and blue half, that's mine. We really don't like Birmingham City. It might be the fiercest derby in England.
It is not the closest rivalry
No.
in Europe now.
No, we get to talk about that when we hit the continent briefly.
That's right.
That little bit in Ligue 1.
And I'm going to go with Coventry as my third team. I think they've got some really interesting pieces to make a move as well. Who do you got in the Championship?
Yeah, and just on Coventry, Haji Wright, he wasn't 100% fit, came off the bench for Coventry this weekend. He's one of the Americans we're keeping an eye on for World Cup 2026. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with Coventry there.
I think a good season could get him on the roster.
Yeah, I do too. My 3, Leicester City. I think they'll finally put it together, come back up. Ipswich Town, I think they'll bounce back. They did not look good in Birmingham to kick the season off, but they played really bad and still got a point, and that's, for me, is the making of a good side. Last, I'm going with kind of a sleeping giant down there. I'm going with Bristol City. They have been in the division, I think, 15, 16 years straight. They got to the playoffs last year finally. I think this is going to be the year where they finally get a Bristol club back in, or maybe for the first time. I have to go back and look. But they will be, I think, in the top division next season.
For the better part of a decade, powered by the Bermudian Naki Wells up front. I've seen him play for Bermuda.
I know.
That says something.
I know you've seen it on one of those.
I have issues with soccer when I go down that rabbit hole.
That's on the other computer.
League One, I went with Luton Town back-to-back relegations. I think they're probably the favorites. Strong squad. The parachute payments, they're going to be all right. Plymouth Argyle dropped from the championship. I still think they're going to be all right to come back up. New manager, Tom Cleverley, I think they're going to be just fine. Bradford City, promoted from League Two. That's my kind of dart at the wall to see what happens.
I'm going a little different. I'm going with, I think Huddersfield have a bit more in the tank than Luton does. I like Huddersfield Town to get back into the championship. Barnsley, we're both kind of touching the Yorkshire clubs here. I think Barnsley, they're in really good shape. I think they will get promoted up. And I'm going, my little flyer is Stockport County.
I like that pick.
Yeah, they've been coming up and had a lot of great battles along with Notts County with Wrexham over the last few years from the conference coming up. They got stuck in the division last season, but they were really good. I think this year they're going to go up. I think we'll see them with Ryan Reynolds and the boys and Tom Brady and his boys next season in the championship.
Finally, in League Two, not going to be a popular pick for a lot of folks in a certain area of London. The residents of Plough Lane won't be happy, but I'm going to go with MK Dons, the favorites to win League Two. They've got quite a roster. I think they're going to be all right. They had a bad season last year, but I think they'll go up. Chesterfield came back to the Football League last year. Yep. And kept themselves in the playoff positions for much of the year. They just missed it. And then I'm going to go with Barnet. They were dominant in the National League last year down in the conference, over 100 points. Am I taking another shot in the dark here? Is this another dart at the wall? Probably. Not the best start for them, but it's only 2 matches, and we've got a long way to go. 2 from 46. We've got some football to play.
Yeah, and I agree with you, MK Dons. I think this is finally their season to go up automatic. I like Chesterfield as well. We also have to remember 4 clubs go up from League Two. My third for the automatic spots, I'm going with Walsall. They threw it away last season. They were leading the league and in the promotion spots by about 12 points and fell all the way back and lost in the playoff. I think they'll stay up. And I want to see Notts County. They're my playoff pick. I want to see them get back up there, and bring that River Trent battle. Forest on one side of the river, Notts County on the other, and see them get back up a little bit.
You've got a new friend in Upper St. Clair, Pennsylvania. Notts County John from the Riverhounds games is going to be all in for this every week now. Once he watches this and hears that, oh, you're talking about my boys from Notts County. This is great. I'll go get you tickets to the game. I sound Australian, don't I?
A little bit, but if I go over, I will definitely take them up for tickets to the match.
Notts County John and Man City Tim were 2 of my favorite people out there. I really enjoyed sitting under the goal with them. They were a good time.
Yeah, well, you got to make sure then he sees this and he sees that we're giving Notts County some love.
I'm going to send him the Facebook clip.
Oh, there you go.
That'll hook him right in. He'll be watching every Tuesday saying, you guys have no clue what you're talking about. We'll just Skype call him in.
There we go.
You want to touch on the continent very briefly before we take one final break, and then we'll go to the kind of the Yanks thing?
Yeah. La Liga starts up this weekend. So it's which Madrid side or Barcelona do you think will win the title? Because it's a closed shop for those 3 right now.
Madrid. I'm going to go with Real.
Real?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Real too. Barcelona can't register players again. I think that'll catch up with them. And I think Atletico, they just throw away too many bad points on the road.
Yeah, I could see that happen to them last year.
Yeah, they were.
Was it Osasuna they threw the match away against? Yeah.
Yeah. They were right there until like the last month of the season, and then all of a sudden they just started drawing everybody.
That was also the big point on Morning Footy today. Mm-hmm. They were talking about Atleti's bundling of the season last year, that final stretch.
Yep. And I think the other thing we want to touch on, we mentioned it, it might be the closest derby in the world. We have to check. But for the first time in 20, 30 years, Paris FC got promoted from Ligue 2 to Ligue 1. And
You love doing that.
I do. And they're also changing grounds, going from the stadium that they've been playing in to a rugby stadium that they'll be sharing. But the thing is, Paris Saint-Germain, who are the champions of Europe, champions of France, champions of just about everything, from door to door, it's about a 30-meter walk. It's across the street.
I believe it's replaced Dundee FC, Dundee United, as the closest rivalry in Europe, at least in Europe, that I know of.
I believe so. And if I recall the fixtures correctly, they don't play until December.
Yeah.
They play almost the last round of the first group of games and the same on the second. So they play each other near the end of the season for both fixtures. And, I mean, just look at your neighbor across the street, go knock on their door. That's how far apart the two stadiums are.
Yeah, outside of playing in the same ground, there is no...
Yeah, except for like a Milan ground
Milan,
share.
yeah, that's it.
This is it. And what makes it interesting and special is, if you're thinking about this, they won't play at home on the same weekend, on the same day. They're not permitted to, obviously, because of possible crowd trouble and policing issues. So when one's home, the other's away. It's one I just can't wait to watch. And the owners of Paris FC have some money behind them. So hopefully they can consolidate, and this is not a one-year thing.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. The Paris Derby.
And they've come so close the last couple of years to get promoted, and they finally got over the line last season.
It's going to be exciting. We're looking forward to that. Bundesliga Serie A kicking off in just about a week's time as well. We'll get more into that next week. Liga NOS going. I'll be sitting at Portugalia with my espressos and watching that, of course. And let's take a break. We'll come back. Our final segment, we're going to talk a little bit about some MLS players who were in maybe the Gold Cup, who should take a look at making a move, trying to force the hand of Don Garber a little bit in the league, and then some European matches to watch, specifically in England, coming up.
Yes.
We'll be back.
Rachel's Refinished Furniture, located at 205 Blue Valley Drive in Bangor, has a showroom filled with refinished furniture, mirrors, home decor, and more. Rachel's has unfinished pieces which you can customize as well. If you've got a piece which you would like to have refinished, you can have your furniture given a new life at Rachel's Refinished Furniture. You can contact Rachel's Refinished Furniture at 610-810-8486 and speak to Rachel in person. That's 610-810-8486 for Rachel's Refinished Furniture, 205 Blue Valley Drive in Bangor. Superior Hardware, located at 400 South 3rd Street in Bangor, is your go-to source for home improvement supplies in the Slate Belt. With a variety of tools, screws, nuts, bolts, and more, Superior Hardware is the place to shop for your hardware needs. Superior Hardware offers a full line of Milwaukee tools, the highest quality power tools available. In addition to their in-store offerings, Superior Hardware ships nationwide via their website, www.superiorhardwarebangor.com. So you don't even have to live in the Slate Belt or drive to Bangor to sample all that Superior Hardware has to offer. Superior Hardware is open Monday to Friday from 7 till 5, Saturday from 7:30 to 4, and Sunday from 9 to 2. Call them at 610-588-3205 or stop by their location at 400 South 1st Street in Bangor to jumpstart your home improvement projects today. That's Superior Hardware, 400 South 1st Street in Bangor. X-Golf, located just off the 25th Street exit of Route 22 in Easton, offers a premier golf simulation experience. With some of the most realistic indoor golf simulators you've ever seen, X-Golf is the premier place to work on your game before you hit the courses around the Lehigh Valley. If it's driving that needs work, putting that needs practice, or that pesky short game that haunts you, X-Golf is the perfect spot to perfect your swing. Bring your clubs, borrow one of our in-house sets, big up your friends, and come on down to X-Golf for a fun time. It's always 72 and sunny at X-Golf, and double bogeys are welcome, so you don't have to worry about a cart full of golfers behind you on hole 7. To schedule your tee time, call X-Golf at 484-250-0391. That's 484 250-0391. X-Golf, 80 Kunkel Drive in Easton, right off the 25th Street exit of Route 22. At Edge Landscaping and Excavation, we provide residential and commercial landscaping and excavation services with a focus on customer satisfaction. Seeing the satisfaction of our Edge customers when their project is complete is what drives Edge Landscaping and Excavation to pursue excellence in our field every day. We offer reasonable pricing on all our services to ensure our clients can achieve their vision without breaking their budgets. Call Edge Landscaping and Excavation today at 908-386-7433 and speak to Connor. That's 908-387-7433 and visit our website at www.edgelandscapingandexcavation.com. For over 60 years, Dietz's Tavern in Wind Gap has been a go-to locale for football fans in the Slate Belt food scene. With a variety of appetizers, salads, burgers, and entrees, Dietz's provides a down-home atmosphere, a friendly space to meet and mingle, and a full bar to watch the big games. Don't forget about wing nights on Wednesday, taco Thursday, and their weekly specials. Dietz's is open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 9 and can be found at 570 North Lehigh Avenue in Wind Gap. Stop by Dietz's today and sample the food, drink, and friendship firsthand. That's Dietz's Tavern, 570 North Lehigh Avenue in Wind Gap. It's Queen's Nutritional Products, 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. The Novak family, still the proprietors. For a wide variety of high-quality vitamins, supplements, and herbs, shop Queen's Nutritional Products. From vitamin A to zinc and everything in between, the Queen Bee and her busy bees on staff can assist you. Queen's Nutritional Products also has a full line of dry and roasted nuts, dried fruits, and more. That historic nut hut still producing the best nuts and dried fruits in the Lehigh Valley. Queen's Nutritional Products also offers a variety of natural soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, and more because what you put on your body is as important as what you put in it. Queen's Nutritional Products is open Monday through Wednesday and Saturday from 9 until 6, Thursday and Friday from 9 till 7, as well as Sunday from 11 till 4. Seniors get 10% off every day on many items in the store. Visit them online at queensnutrition.shop, or better yet, stop by Queen's Nutritional Products at 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. Leather Corner Post Bar and Grill, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield, has served up good food and good cheer since the 1860s. LZB is a one-of-a-kind local bar with great food, cold beer, and plenty of memories to be made. Sample their wings, burgers, salads, and more in a relaxed neighborhood pub setting. And with sports, Bolka, and more on their TVs, LZB is your hometown pub in Lehigh County. LZB is also the Boomba capital of the Lehigh Valley and features Bolka music on the third Thursday of every month, with the Steelworkers Bolka Band performing from 6 until 9 p.m. LZB is open Tuesday to Thursday from 3 until 11, Friday and Saturday from noon to 1:30 a.m., and Sunday from 1 to 8 p.m. Reserve your seats for Bolka Night with the Steelworkers by calling 610-395-1782. That's 610-395-1782. And of course, remember to mention CWTAP. That's the Leather Corner Post, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield. And we're back here on Corner Kick, CWTAP. We've got one more segment here before we wind down the show. The rundown going on the right side of the screen there. Alex and JJ back in the saddle. It's great to be with you. We've been doing this for quite some time. We started 10 years ago here on this channel, and it's great to be back with you once again. So let's bring it on home now, and we'll bring it back to Major League Soccer. Okay. You have other names for that, and I have other names for that. We just went through a friendly and Gold Cup cycle with the U.S. national team under a new manager in Mauricio Pochettino. The last time we were here together, it was Jurgi and Bruce.
Yeah.
And then we went into Berhalter when this all ended and I moved to Pittsburgh.
After like 12 interim managers.
We've arrived on Mauricio Pochettino. So anyway, getting down to this,
he went into the tournament with what was the B- team, I suppose.
Yeah,
But-
a little lower, but yeah.
Maybe even a C team.
Yeah.
And it was a weird watch. They got run off the field by Turkey and Switzerland, who brought really more of an A squad.
And for me, they were prep matches for the competition,
And
so
that was
I wasn't
expected.
Too worried about
Right.
it. Some people get they get all bent out of shape over a friendly.
I don't.
The Gold Cup was more important of any of the matches. So to me, they were just warm up, let the players get together, let them learn how to play together before the competition starts.
Well, and then we got into the Gold Cup, and I think there were a lot of red flags that went up regarding the depth of the current MLS player pool.
Yeah, there isn't one.
That we learned. That's what we learned, and I think there are some serious questions to be answered, and this is something that we can move into next week deeper about what is going on with Major League Soccer and its ability or inability to develop young American talent. And I think Canada's got the same problem right now. Looking at what came out of the Gold Cup, there were very few positives among MLS-based guys that got on the field. Someone at Derby is going to lose their job over the Patrick Adjumong transfer next summer. I would be shocked if someone didn't.
For him, I thought it was a good move for him. We'll see if it's a good move for Derby County.
Well, that's my red flag.
But for him to make the jump, I applaud him more than so many other players who just stay at home, take the easy payday. What I like is he wasn't foolish to sign for Chelsea, like how many MLS players have to get loaned all over the continent to come back home 4 years later, having played at 4 different clubs and never for Chelsea.
No, it's a move that puts him on the pitch.
Yeah, might take him a little while to get consistent time. I think he'll learn, and I hope he succeeds. Whenever any of our players make that jump, I want them to succeed. Haji Wright took him a little while. Who's at West Brom that's always injured? Is it DK?
DK,
always injured, but he went for it. Josh Sargent, and I'll talk about him in a few minutes. He made the jump over, found his way to Norwich, and he's solid. Hopefully, Adjumong does well, can earn a move somewhere else. England maybe isn't the best spot. Our players see success in Holland. The Dutch clubs are really good, but I like that he went.
I think also, too, and in Adjumong's defense of where he's going, the championship seems to be kind to Americans. Mm-hmm. The Premier League is a cutthroat, ruthless place. Mm-hmm. And this is not to say the championship isn't. Easiest league to fall into, easiest league to fall out of, toughest league to get back up from.
Yeah.
But in the Premier League, one wrong touch, manager writes you off, is ready to go into the transfer window in January and say, I need another winger. I need another striker. This guy just didn't get the job done. We're done with him. Loan him, sell him. I don't care where he goes. I need somebody who never makes a mistake. The stakes are that high for most of these clubs. In the championship, there's a little more leeway. Again, lots of pressure from the supporters, pressure from the media in the cities that you'd be playing in. But Americans seem to transition from MLS, take the step up, and the championship can open a door.
Yeah. And, hey, as I said, good on him for going over, for not just wanting a bigger payday here. If he goes to Derby, even if it doesn't work out, he'll come back and he'll be a better player than if he just stayed here.
I think, too, that the jumping point you're talking about, it can be the like that kind of like a frog, you're jumping from one pad to another. Mm-hmm. Perform in the championship, it opens the door to the Eredivisie, it opens the door to the Bundesliga, Serie A, another league where Americans do very well.
Yeah.
At least right now, it's proving to be a good spot for them.
I think our young players are too focused on England, to be honest with you, rather than the better proving grounds, training grounds, improvement grounds of the Netherlands. Serie A is nice for some of our players. It's not the breakneck speed of England. Or once you're in the championship, you're going to get some teams that are going to play with the ball on the floor, and the teams further down that are trying to survive are knocking it long and just beating you up. They're, because that's how they play. Some of these other areas, it allows for different things. It allows you to see things differently at a different pace. Italy's very technical. That's why I think Pulisic is doing very well there. It's not breakneck, pin your ears back and run at the goal when he was at Chelsea. Here, he is the player he was designed to be. And he's not being shoehorned in with the manager who never signed him anyway.
All right, let's go to the graphic now. We're going to put it up on the screen. MLS-based Yanks. These are a lot of the guys who we saw over the summer, some who we didn't. They're a little bit younger. I stretched this list. JJ, over the years I've always put out on Twitter every summer this list of 30 or 40 American players between the age of about 18 and 24, where it's if they ever want to have a prayer at the national team in a serious manner with a serious national team manager, not named Greg Berhalter, where we want to be successful, these guys need to go to Europe. The list has gotten significantly smaller and smaller over the last 2 to 3 seasons for me. And what is on the screen right now is everyone within that shout. And let's start with the goalkeeper position because that is our most precarious right now.
Yeah, from a country that turned out goalkeepers like they were going out of style in the 90s, we barely have one that can, cover our national team.
Yeah, you have Turner back in MLS. Financial reasons ended up bringing him back here.
I think, too, he could have gone on loan anywhere. Why'd he go on loan here? Nobody wanted him.
It's because nobody wanted him there. Yeah, and so you have him. Not on this list, obviously, because these are guys who I think need to take a look at making that move abroad. But Zach Steffen, yeah, you could hear the rust, as you said. It was falling off of him in the stadium in Columbus, and I was there for it. Cling, 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 goal. But the three on the screen right now, Matt Freese. I actually think Matt Freese probably is the best shot to be the starter. He performed very well in the Gold Cup. MVP award for NYCFC last year, third in the league in saves. He's the guy who, again, I don't think he's a top European league. Send him to Belgium, send him to championship, get him some minutes, push himself on. But goalkeeper's a weird position. It's the one I've always said if you're in MLS, I'm kind of okay with it because the attackers are decent enough that you're going to see quality. Is it World Cup quality? Probably not, except for Messi and Suarez. Well, Suarez can't run anymore. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
But Messi, okay, you have Messi. Now you got Son. There's enough guys out there. Dennis Bouanga, who I think is a good player. Where goalkeepers, maybe you don't have to go, but that used to be our thing. Like you said, we produce goalkeepers. They go to Europe. They perform really well.
Well, that's why they were so good. They weren't here.
They were. There you go.
Case Kellner played here.
Yeah.
Brad Friedel played here, 2 seasons?
In Columbus,
At the very end,
yeah.
when he was done. Miola played here, but he was no longer the number one.
Yeah.
Guzan was in Europe. When he came back, he was no longer the number one.
Tim Howard left as a kid.
He left young, became the number one. By the time he came back, he was the number one for a month or two, and it cost us the World Cup, qualification. So
Tim Howard, very interesting fact about Tim Howard. First time I ever saw Tim Howard play soccer. It was I want to say 96 or 7, probably 7. He was playing goalkeeper for the North Jersey Imperials.
Ooh, nice.
In the USISL against the Central Jersey Riptide.
Oh,
Backstopped by a man named Bogdan Kowalski, who played in the Polish league, along with about 8 other players for the Riptide, who ran through the league for 3 or 4 seasons. I think were you playing for the Stallions at that time? And then I think some of them ended up down there, right?
I will say that you successfully got your Polish league mention in for the show.
I had to.
Was perfect.
I had to. They're on beIN Sports right now, and you have to make sure you watch every week. Polish League on being, but I got it in there. I had to get it in. He gets Aston Villa, and I get the Polish League in. It's all good. But let's go back to the screen. The other two goalkeepers, I mean, it's stretching. Roman Celentano, Bobby's cousin, who's not his cousin, but I like to say he's his cousin. It sounds really cool if we say Bobby's cousin's the goalie for Cincinnati. He's been a starter for a couple of years now, and I've always been impressed. I think he's a kid who he's right at that age where it's like, as a goalkeeper going 24, 25, make the jump.
Yeah.
Patrick Schulte's the other one from Columbus Crew who's in that spot where he's 24, 25. He's been the starter in Columbus for a few years. I think he does a pretty good job backstopping them. And you have to remember, MLS goalkeepers also don't have the best backline.
Yeah.
So you give them a proper backline, they can look even better abroad. I think Turner was the wrong move to the wrong place. I credit him for going, but they tried.
Going to Arsenal was foolish.
I didn't think he was at that level. I think these guys on this list, the three there, they're championship, they're lower end of the Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and I think that's still a level above what they're facing in Major League Soccer. But, where do they go? I don't know. I was only able to come up with one defender. It was Max Arston from the Columbus Crew. He did okay in the Gold Cup.
Was he out on the left?
Yeah.
He was all right.
And there was a youngster from Orlando. I left him off. I left him off the list. There's a pack in the middle. I added two kids, Owen Wolf and Ben Kramaski, who I think they're definite. It's not a case of if Ben Kramaski and Owen Wolf go to Europe. It's just a case of when they go to Europe. Kramaski with Miami and Wolf Austin FC.
And Kramaski's got to get on the pitch, and with Inter constantly bringing in
it's a
old
problem.
Men, he can't play.
He can't play. So there has to be some type of move for him at some point, whether it's within the league.
Just to showcase
him, yeah. I think we're seeing the only other lock on this list where I say it's not if, it's when, is Diego Luna.
Yes, and he should have gone. They wouldn't let him. I'll let you get into the attackers, and then we'll circle back to Diego.
Okay. Who I did see this weekend.
And I'll tell you why I think it's good that they haven't moved yet.
Okay, attackers. One's a retread. Brandon Vasquez went to Monterrey.
Yeah.
Really played so well in Cincinnati. When I looked at him in Cincinnati, I said, this is a guy, Serie A, get him to Bundesliga. And I know we're recycling Bundesliga. Bundesliga. These are the places where I think he could have really caught on. Championship, big, physical. I like Brandon Vasquez over a lot of other MLS Americans, over the next guy on this list, even, Jesus Ferreira, who's been good but not spectacular. And he scores goals for the national team when they play St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's great against Antigua and Barbuda, not so good against Mexico. Kind of in the vein of what Chris Wondolowski did. But Wando was better in MLS than him.
Wando's terrible. Terrible. Cost us the Belgium match. Missed from 4 yards. Somehow he put it over the bar.
So, for me, there's but in MLS, I think he did above his weight. He punched above his weight in MLS on a team with no service. He still managed to set the goal scoring record.
Seattle? I thought he was in Dallas or something.
Who, Wando?
No, Ferreira.
Ferreira was with Dallas.
I was right. Okay.
He was with Dallas, and he just joined Seattle.
I got one.
All right, we're going to take the screen down right now because it's been up for the last minute.
I got one.
When's the last time you watched a match of the Mickey Mouse soccer, as you like to call it?
From MLS?
Did you watch the final last year?
No. The first year they went to Apple, I watched one match the first weekend, I think. Oh, no. And it was when they were Apple. I was in Jim Thorpe at an Irish pub. I went in. The game was on Fox. And it was only because they had it on. Because something else was on before that, and that ended, and then that came on. I didn't even see the whole thing. It was just for however long it took me to finish my fish and chips and pint of Guinness. No mushy peas, by the way. Very disappointing.
We'll get you watching a little bit.
No, you won't.
Okay, I don't watch that much either anymore. I watch the USL every week. Another topic for another week. There's the teaser. Yeah. All right, go back to Luna.
For Luna, and I'll even say Freeze, I like that they didn't move this summer, and I'm going to relate it to it. I'm also happy Josh Sargent hasn't moved. Sargent had interest from, was it Wolfsburg?
It was Wolfsburg, yeah.
Okay, it was one of the W's. I couldn't remember if it was Werder Bremen or Wolfsburg. But
wasn't he at Werder Bremen?
That's what it was. He was there. So he was going from one W to the other through Norwich. But I'm glad he stayed with Norwich because changing leagues like that and clubs for these players in a World Cup year would most likely prove disastrous. Freeze wouldn't play most likely wherever he went to. Luna would be coming off the bench a bit. Sargent wouldn't be the nailed-on starter he is at Norwich. He came back from injury, from that ankle injury last season, finished the season well. He's hot out of the box. He's probably the first or second name on the team sheet. Probably the captain's the first name, he's second. For now, they need to stay where they are, get to the World Cup, put in a good performance, then move.
Well, and I think you make a good shout because there's also time. Freeze is 25. Goalkeepers can play till they're 40.
Yep.
And usually most guys who are international, Americans that go abroad young, they're not going to start early on. Look at what's happened, like with Gaga Swanina. I know that's a longer-term project, or even, Diego Cochin at Barcelona, who's come through Masia. Irregular minutes. And Gaga got hurt. He got run last year. But it's one of those things where there's time as a goalkeeper. And with Luna, he is still young. I think he's 21 or 22.
Yeah.
So, you're thinking a 10-year game with Diego Luna.
Yeah, and, they have to have one thought on next summer. And if they're not playing, this is not a manager who's going to go, oh, but you're one of my favorite buddies, and I'll still keep you not only in the squad, I'm going to start you.
If you're not on the pitch, you're not
Pochettino's
playing.
going to play who
Yeah.
he thinks needs to play. And right now, most of those guys are not in MLS. Freeze is one. He could start because Turner, to me, has just been – he's had two abysmal seasons in Europe. Unless he comes back and lights New England back up on fire, I think it's – Freeze could pip him out. I think Luna will stay in the mix. And will he start? Probably not in a World Cup, but he definitely be coming off the bench, where if he goes to Europe, maybe he's player 25 or 26 if he's not playing. It's like moving from the continent to the Premier League for a lot of players. It takes time to get up to speed. If you're a player going, you've seen it at Villa the last 2 seasons. Players have come in. They don't play much the first season. They got to learn the system. Then the second season, they make their impact. And I see that with our players. I'll be honest, for me, with MLS, you're not learning how to be a professional here. You're just not. You're a nailed-on starter. You don't worry about who's behind you because you're going to play every week. When you go over there, you fight every week to play, because when you start, you get a bonus. When you score a goal, you get a bonus. If you keep a clean sheet, you get a bonus. And this keeps food on people's tables there. And it is their full-time job. And our players aren't taught that in MLS. And it's just not there. The fire's not there anymore.
Well, I think we'll go down the rabbit hole a little more next week in the domestic segment about let's tap it on the schedule already. We talk about the pay in MLS and what they've done by essentially overpaying these guys to stay here, as opposed to, say, look at like the Australian League. We could dig into that a little more next week and see the number abroad, the number here, and who's producing and who's not. But the level's irrelevant. It's, who's producing, who's not.
Yeah.
Let's switch the screen here one last time. Some matches to watch this weekend. There's Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League going on this week. There's not a whole lot of drama in the Europa League and Europa Conference League. Some of the matches that I thought would have been turned out not to be, so we'll skip over that very quickly. The matches to watch this weekend, and it's what's up on the screen right now. 3 in the Premier League: United and Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, Bournemouth. That United-Arsenal one has some big implications early.
Yeah, it's a chance for United to put a marker down at their back, and for real. I won't say all the way back, but, they're going to cause some problems this season. For Arsenal, on the flip side, it's their chance to put down a marker for themselves that we're going to be title contenders this season. For years, you never got this in the Premier League. Now they like putting some of these big sides together. Early, opening day, opening weekend. So that will be a good one at Old Trafford, for sure.
Is there anything else we need to cover today?
I think just for those other two real quick, Villa Newcastle, it's the early kickoff on Saturday, so you never know what to expect. but the last 6 matches, I think, have produced 3 or more goals every fixture. So there should be some more goals out there. And Liverpool-Bournemouth is only on there because it's the Friday match. 3 p.m. kicks the season off.
All right, let's bring us back up here on the screen. And that does it for the first episode back of the Corner Kick here on CWTAP. And JJ, you make it easy for me. I have the best co-host for this. All I have to do is tee it up, and you are off the fairway.
And, if we get to the point that you stop teeing me up, then I'm just going to run back here to our simulator at X Golf in Easton. I'll tee a few up myself, smack them into the screen, and have some fun back there. All
right, that does it. You can catch us for the Corner Kick initial airing every Wednesday at 9 o'clock here on CWTAP. For James Pepe, I'm Alex Fidrashevsky. And, of course, you know what we used to do? The final thought. You get the final word always. Remember, you get the final word. Remember the final word? Wow. What's the final word for the first show?
The final word is, it is great to be back on CWTAP going into the start of the Premier League and the main European season.
All right, we'll catch you, folks. Take care.
Superior Hardware, located at 400 South First Street in Bangor, is your go-to source for home improvement supplies in the Slate Belt. With a variety of tools, screws, nuts, bolts, and more, Superior Hardware is the place to shop for your hardware needs. Superior Hardware offers a full line of Milwaukee tools, the highest quality power tools available. In addition to their in-store offerings, Superior Hardware ships nationwide via their website, www.superiorhardwarebangor.com. So you don't even have to live in the Slate Belt or drive to Bangor to sample all that Superior Hardware has to offer. Superior Hardware is open Monday to Friday from 7 till 5, Saturday from 7:30 to 4, and Sunday from 9 to 2. Call them at 610-588-3205 or stop by their location at 400 South First Street in Bangor to jumpstart your home improvement projects today. That's Superior Hardware, 400 South First Street in Bangor. X Golf, located just off the 25th Street exit of Route 22 in Easton, offers a premier golf simulation experience. With some of the most realistic indoor golf simulators you've ever seen, X Golf is the premier place to work on your game before you hit the courses around the Lehigh Valley. If it's driving that needs work, putting that needs practice, or that pesky short game that haunts you, X Golf is the perfect spot to perfect your swing. Bring your clubs, borrow one of our in-house sets, big up your friends, and come on down to X Golf for a fun time. It's always 72 and sunny at X Golf, and double bogeys are welcome, so you don't have to worry about a cart full of golfers behind you on hole 7. To schedule your tee time, call X Golf at 484-250-0391. That's 484-250-0391. X Golf, 80 Kunkel Drive in Easton, right off the 25th Street exit of Route 22. It's Queen's Nutritional Products, 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. The Novak family, still the proprietors. For a wide variety of high-quality vitamins, supplements, and herbs, shop Queen's Nutritional Products. From vitamin A to zinc and everything in between, the Queen Bee and her busy bees on staff can assist you. Queen's Nutritional Products also has a full line of dry and roasted nuts, dried fruits, and more. That historic nut hut still producing the best nuts and dried fruits in the Lehigh Valley. Queen's Nutritional Products also offers a variety of natural soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, and more, because what you put on your body is as important as what you put in it. Queen's Nutritional Products is open Monday through Wednesday and Saturday from 9 until 6, Thursday and Friday from 9 till 7, as well as Sunday from 11 till 4. Seniors get 10% off every day on many items in the store. Visit them online at queensnutrition.shop, or better yet, stop by Queen's Nutritional Products at 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue in Allentown. At Edge Landscaping and Excavation. We provide residential and commercial landscaping and excavation services with a focus on customer satisfaction. Seeing the satisfaction of our Edge customers when their project is complete is what drives Edge Landscaping and Excavation to pursue excellence in our field every day. We offer reasonable pricing on all our services to ensure our clients can achieve their vision without breaking their budgets. Call Edge Landscaping and Excavation today at 908-386-7433 and speak to Connor. That's 908-387-7433 and visit our website at www.edgelandscapingandexcavation.com. For over 60 years, Dietz's Tavern in Wind Gap has been a go-to locale for football fans in the Slate Belt food scene. With a variety of appetizers, salads, burgers, and entrees, Dietz's provides a down-home atmosphere, a friendly space to meet and mingle, and a full bar to watch the big games. Don't forget about wing nights on Wednesday, taco Thursday, and their weekly specials. Dietz's is open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 9 and can be found at 570 North Lehigh Avenue in Wind Gap. Stop by Dietz's today and sample the food, drink, and friendship firsthand. That's Dietz's Tavern, 570 North Lehigh Avenue in Wind Gap. Rachel's Refinished Furniture, located at 205 Blue Valley Drive in Bangor, has a showroom filled with refinished furniture, mirrors, home decor, and more. Rachel's has unfinished pieces which you can customize as well. If you've got a piece which you would like to have refinished, you can have your furniture given a new life at Rachel's Refinished Furniture. You can contact Rachel's Refinished Furniture at 610-810-8486 and speak to Rachel in person. That's 610-810-8486 for Rachel's Refinished Furniture, 205 Blue Valley Drive in Bangor. Azar Supermarket, 3131 Linden Street in Bethlehem. Locally owned and operated by George Azar. Stop by today and pick from the freshest produce, much of it grown right here at home in Pennsylvania. Peruse the meat counter for the finest cuts of chicken, beef, lamb, and halal products. Take a step to your right. It's a selection of olives and mezza and cheese and more. Azars features a full lineup of products imported from the Mediterranean, including Lebanese olive oil and hard-to-find spices and herbs. Shop Azars, 3131 Linden Street in Bethlehem, for great value. X-Golf, located just off the 25th Street exit of Route 22 in Easton, offers a premier golf simulation experience. With some of the most realistic indoor golf simulators you've ever seen, X-Golf is the premier place to work on your game before you hit the courses around the Lehigh Valley. If it's driving that needs work, putting that needs practice, or that pesky short game that haunts you, X-Golf is the perfect spot to perfect your swing. Bring your clubs, borrow one of our in-house sets, big up your friends, and come on down to X-Golf for a fun time. It's always 72 and sunny at X-Golf, and double bogeys are welcome, so you don't have to worry about a cart full of golfers behind you on hole 7. To schedule your tee time, call X-Golf at 484-250-0391. That's 484-250-0391. X-Golf, 80 Kunkel Drive in Easton, right off the 25th Street exit of Route 22. The Leather Corner Post Bar and Grill, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield, has served up good food and good cheer since the 1860s. LCB is a one-of-a-kind local bar with great food, cold beer, and plenty of memories to be made. Sample their wings, burgers, salads, and more in a relaxed neighborhood pub setting. And with sports, Bolka, and more on their TVs, LCB is your hometown pub in Lehigh County. LCB is also the Boomba capital of the Lehigh Valley and features Bolka music on the third Thursday of every month, with the Steelworkers Bolka Band performing from 6 until 9 p.m. LCB is open Tuesday to Thursday from 3 until 11, Friday and Saturday from noon to 1:30 a.m., and Sunday from 1 to 8 p.m. Reserve your seats for Bolka Night with the Steelworkers by calling 610-395-1782. That's 610-395-1782. And of course, remember to mention CWTAP. That's the Leather Corner Post, 6855 Horseshoe Road in Orfield.